Andor, Season 1, Episode 2, and this episode is a lot better than Episode 1. Episode 1 I thought was dull and boring and nothing really happened. It's just one of those episodes that you just like, while everyone's it's amazing, I'm like, over. But I had a lot of problems with Episode 1. Episode 2 is a hell of a lot better. Episode 2 is a hell of a lot better. It has better pacing. I was with it with the conversations. And the weird thing is, like, this episode is like 37 minutes, and it feels like, in a good way, it feels like a really filling episode, because, the one thing about these Disney Plus shows, from the Marvel sides and Star Wars shows, is that sometimes it just feels like it just ends. It just ends. And well, like, can we have an extra 20 minutes, please? Can we have an extra 15? Because this is clearly not enough for us. This is like a buffet, and you're just giving me the steak, but where's the salads? Like, that's kind of it. So, but with this episode, and it felt 37 minutes or 30-ish minutes, not including credits, and recap, I'm like, this is filling. Like, this is able to take its time and take its place into the story in a very interesting and compelling way. Now, we still are, we are still in setup mode. Like, the only big thing that happens in this episode is we meet, briefly, Stellan Skarsgård's character, who is clearly the collector or the friend or the dealer that her Cassian's mechanic friend, what she mentioned about how he's coming. I'm like, okay, that's clearly Skarsgård's character. Okay, and we briefly meet him. He doesn't say much. He actually doesn't say a lot, like maybe 3 lines of dialogue, and that's him landing onto, like, about to land onto a planet, and him saying, like, are the fossils ready? The faction's ready. Like, I can't do a droid voice, but you know what I mean. Like, it's everything secure dialogue, and then he doesn't speak, and it's such weird. I mean, it sounds good. What do you expect? It's just he's able to say a lot with no words. Is he? I think he's Academy Award winning actor, or at least nominee. So it kind of proves that this guy is a bit of a thespian. So he's like, I'm like, yep, this is what you're gonna say. The other thing is that the Empire knows that Cassian killed those Empire soldiers from the first episode. That's kind of the big major thing. And they're heading towards the planet that he's on. And then on to episode 3. But because of that, and because of its pacing, and because of stuff basically happening out through the episode, I was invested. I cared what was happening. I finally, gave a shit. And I was just really glued and riveted to the screen. Now, the interesting thing about this, and I'm quite curious about this, and how people react to this, how parents react to it, how just Star Wars fans in general react to it, and that is, like, this show clearly is going to be more adult, let's say that, or a little bit more mature than the average, like, Obi-Wan and Boba Fett and the Star Wars movie, from the Disney era, or The Mandalorian, all kind of fit in this kind of tone shelf where it's dark, but it's not too dark. It's mature, but it's like dark. It's like, Disney level mature. It's dark stuff, but it's not really deep, if that makes sense. But this show is really showing it. This show, like, from episode 1, you had Cassian just straight on assassinating these 2 Empire soldiers. But this episode really reminds you that forget Star Wars, forget what the bigger universe is. Andor, this is story Andor, and this is that section of the world, and guess what? People act like people. Because you have scenes where you have characters swearing. Like, we meet Fiona Shaw. Fiona Shaw's character, and she's, saying, those bastards. That's a line. Those bastards are actually a line. And I'm like I sound like, when I'm watching it, I sound like a 12-year-old who, watches, hears swearing for the first time. It's like, ooh, they said a dirty word. No, but it's just like, when you're so, like, Marvel, you expect the occasional shit, or the bastards, or asshole, or the occasional, the occasional curse word. But for Star Wars, it's very tame on that. So the moment the word bastard gets kind of taken on, you're like taken aback by it, and you get a little bit taken by it, where you have a couple, and one of them is saying, "Hey, I'm going to go away for I have to do something today, but tomorrow night, we'll have a very special day." Applying that, get the bed ready because it's going to do a lot of squeaking. The guy's going to squeak a lot of blue milk, or blue or green milk. We don't know. Hey, I don't know. Hey, it's a galaxy far, far away. It's aliens. I don't judge, their biology system. I don't know what that looks like, but that's what they're hinting. And even like clothes starting to take off, and the beginning of it, I was like, I think for a lot of people, it's going to be like, you're going to be invested with the show because it's so different, while it's going to take back a lot of people because it's so different and how adult and mature the show's going to get. Like, they kill a kid in this show. They kill a kid in this episode. I'm like, they're not fucking well with this. They're just going to pretend it ain't Star Wars. It's Andor. It's like they created this world and they're going to pretend in that case. And there was an interview about not having fan service. So my guess, like, if fan service happens, so let's say Vader shows up,